The name William Shakespeare is synonymous with great literature, but it also belonged to a person who had a life outside his famous works. Did Shakespeare have a family? In 1582, Shakespeare was married to Anne Hathaway. Not that one. The daughter of a local landowner who was 8 years senior to the 18-year-old bard. They were married just 6 months before the birth of their first child, Susanna. This scandalous timing, among other evidence, has suggested to some historians that their marriage was provoked by the pregnancy, not a passion fit for Shakespeare's own work. Nevertheless, the couple had 2 more children, twins Hamnet and Judith. Sadly, Hamnet died at the age of 11 in 1596. Whether this tragedy had an impact on Shakespeare's most famous tragic work, Hamlet, has been a matter of much debate. Shakespeare is most famous for his work as a playwright, having crafted more timeless classics than we have time to name drop in this video. But he also wrote 3 whole plays about Henry VI that you probably weren't assigned in high school. How many plays did he write in all? Believe it or not, historians aren't totally sure how many plays Shakespeare wrote. Scholarly consensus usually attributes 37 plays to him, but he's believed to have worked on more with other writers, and some of his work may be lost to history. Though Shakespeare is best known as a playwright, he wrote even more poems. In fact, some of his most famous turns of phrase come from his sonnets. Just how many sonnets did he write? In fact, Shakespeare wrote dozens of them, 154 in all. Some of us would have quit after nailing it with Sonnet 18, which begins, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" But Shakespeare kept writing. By Sonnet 130, he decided, "My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun." So maybe poetry had lost a little of its romance for him by then. Though Shakespeare has been called the immortal bard, the man himself was as mortal as any other. But what grim fate deprived the world of such a talent? How did Shakespeare die? That answer, unfortunately, is a mystery. The only hint we have is a journal entry written by the vicar of a local church. He claimed that Shakespeare, Drayton, and Ben Jonson had a merry meeting, and it seems drank too hard, for Shakespeare died of a fever there contracted. Some scholars have suggested this is evidence Shakespeare died of typhus. But as the journal entry was written some 50 years later, and no one has been able to verify it, we may never know the truth. Some 400 years after his death, Shakespeare is still required reading in high school English classes. What is it about the bard that makes his work relevant today? He may have lived nearly half a millennium ago, but Shakespeare's plays dealt with topics that we still struggle with today. Themes like family, war, bigotry, morality, and falling in love transcend time, and even language. His characters have an emotional reality that resonates in translations and adaptations across the world.